Right, so we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in on a Monday evening. I say evening, even though it's an afternoon encounter that we're seeing in the Women's T20 League. Gujarat versus UP, and there's lots to play for, even from a Bangalore perspective. I'm Avnish Hegde, and of course, a new face of the show, which you guys will see a lot of course, going forward. Akshay Kumar Swami. Good to see you, my friend. Butterflies in the stomach right now?
For sure.
Understandable. Now, we're of course watching this in terms of UP's chase of 180 or how much did they get? 178 for six to be precise. I think that's their third best score in this year's competition. So they have batted well. We'll pick the bones about it. But right now, Elisa Healy will be a key wicket going forward in this chase because UP, if they get the points, they're literally through. It's done. It's a goodbye to all the other two teams, that is Gujarat and Bangalore. Now let's get into the thick of things by what we saw in the first innings, Akshay, because certain things that you haven't seen before. Dipti Sharma going for so many runs, the most expensive she's ever been in her entire life. And then a positive sign for Indian cricket and, of course, Gujarat in Dayalan Hemlata and her innings. Talk to me about whichever you want to start with.
Hemlata actually, in fact, before even getting into this innings, we'll also have to talk about how she always gave stats. She
Correct.
Always seemed like someone who was just an innings due.
Oh, yeah.
And I as an RCB fan, I don't think it could have come at a better time. So yeah, for sure, Hemlata having played for India. In fact, she was one of those members. A lot of people thought should have played the T20 World Cup as well, but her injury forced her, from not being able to bowl, and that sort of sent her down the pecking order, and that didn't really help her.
But I mean, in that partnership of 93, the fact that they had their backs against the wall, obviously we're both looking at it from a Bangalore perspective, saying, come on, let them get some runs. They were 50 for 3, and then they managed to get to like 140 odd.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you think that has maybe put them in front runners right now as we speak?
Definitely. In fact, one more thing we'll also have to look at is how Brabant has also played. Like in the last couple of games,
yeah.
Like if you look at how it played for the 4 games before the last 2 games, that is the RCB Gujarat and the Gujarat UP game,
Correct.
It actually slowed down significantly.
Yeah.
But today and the last game, you've actually seen considerably high scores.
Yeah.
So even today at 50 for 3 after 8 odd overs, it actually looked like they had UP had pretty much gotten through the Gujarat batting lineup.
Yeah.
But then, Hemlata really came through. And you'll also have to commend her even more because Gardner really took her time.
Yeah.
And it helped that Hemlata was going through it, helped Gardner sort of set her, get set. And then, of course, she did what she usually does.
Yeah, it was good to see them. I mean, chop and change roles, second fiddle at once. And then, like you said, Hemlata was absolutely a breath of fresh air because we haven't seen that from her in the past. And it was good to see. 6 for none now, 1.1. And Elisa Healy will always be a crucial wicket. I know they're brimming of some sort of confidence with that win against Mumbai, but how do you rate UP as a team so far? I've asked the other experts, of course, but what are your thoughts about UP? And can they actually do the unthinkable and topple Mumbai and Delhi, who are seemingly contenders right now?
I mean, for the playoffs, it's hard to even Before I even talk about the playoffs, it's very hard to sort of predict a winner there because on that particular day, anyone can really come through. But if you look at the league stage, their batters haven't really set the stage on fire. It's only been their international batters.
Yeah.
None of their domestic batters have really come up with good performances.
Yeah.
So they've overly relied on the likes of Grace Harris, Talia McGrath, Elisa Healy.
Yeah.
So Devika Vaidya has yet to come good for them. Shweta Sehrawat didn't really get enough opportunities. She got a couple of games at the top and then she was sent down at number 8, number 9.
Yeah.
So that Indian batting hasn't really done much of note.
Yeah.
So this dependence on international players is, I feel, what has affected them badly.
Yeah, I mean, that's spot on. I think that was one of the comments as well, which came through earlier in one of the watch-alongs, that there's an over-dependency in the 3 that you mentioned right now. But speaking of 2 that we over-depend on sometimes in terms of the CDC office and 100% in terms of the watch-along is, of course, these 2 beautiful gents, Nix and Gurkirat. Good to see you. It's another week of good cricket, I hope. Thoughts, boys, straight away. Gurkirat, how do you assess this chase? Are Gujarat slightly ahead at this moment in time?
I think it's a par total.
And he's on mute.
Yeah, I think it's a par total, and I was listening to Akshay talk about Hemlata's innings. It was a brilliant innings, no doubt about it. And yeah, I mean, it's not every day that you see someone an Indian batter, especially someone like Hemlata, dominate a partnership with someone like an Ash Gardner. I was just looking at the numbers. They had a partnership of 93 runs or 92 runs in 61 balls, and Hemlata did the bulk of the scoring, 52 runs in 30 balls. And this is when, there was pressure to reach
One
sort of.
second, hold on. Catch that. Please catch that. Oh, that's a big wicket. Get in there. Get in there. From a Bangalore perspective, we're loving it. Nix and Gurkirat might not be as animated as me, but I'm looking at the grander scheme of things. Nix, I have to ask you about Dipti Sharma. I've never seen her being that battered in a game. Even the stats suggest that none for 49 or 4 overs is the most expensive she's ever been. What do you put that down to? Or is it just the brilliance of Hemlata on the day?
Yes, brilliance of Hemlata on the day, and also the usage. I felt they held back too many of her towards the end. And that over to Ashley Gardner, there was a shorter leg side boundary, and she was bowling on the pads. It made no sense to bowl that line. She got whipped for a 6, and then she changed the line, went to over the wicket, and then started bowling short and to the feed at least. So I think they had a few things to try out, which I felt they did. There was an over where Gardner had just come in, just looking to take her time. That's when I felt she has matchup versus Dipti as well. Dipti's had the wood over her, but they went to Grace Harris and Gardner got her those few boundaries away. And then these are the moments that you have to capture. Though Parshvi Chopra was excellent and she ensured that they don't run away with the game. And kudos to Hemlata though. I think she saw what Gaikwad was doing. Rajeshwari held the line back, bowled to, got Dunkley to hit in the air, and then Hemlata just waited. Just waited on the back foot to begin with, slapped her across the leg mid wicket, and then she was into her innings. And then it was always going to be, now I know the pace of it, I can do it at my will. So I think that was a great period of play for Gujarat because it will give them confidence going into the next season.
Yeah, I mean, that's super important from their perspective, right? For them to just find their feet a little bit. Hemalata, of course, not performing throughout the competition, now getting some runs. Sorry, Gurkirat, before the wicket fell, you were mentioning a point about that partnership. Go on, please.
Yeah, I was just saying that she took upon herself to provide the impetus to the innings. It was first she had to make sure that they don't lose any more wickets because they had suffered a mini collapse. The over that Nikhil was talking about. Even Hurleen was dismissed in a similar fashion. Both the batters really didn't reach to the pitch of the ball and were beaten in the air. So excellent batting, and I do think that UP sort of pulled back things in the last 4 overs because at the end of 16 overs, I think the score was 143, and from there on you would have expected them to reach 185, 190, because especially the way both both Hemlata and Gardner were batting. So I think UP would definitely be the happier side at the halftime, probably, especially given how they bowled in the last 4. And I do think it's a par total because this seems to be a good batting pitch. The ball's really not holding up as it has been holding in some of the games prior to this one. So yeah, and I think we could see a repeat of that first game between these two sides.
Okay, let's see how it really unravels because Kiran Navgiri has come out in her usual spot, one down. Actually, just coming to, of course, a little bit of a spin chat here. Eccleston getting the purple cap inevitably, even though she's figured 1 for 27 today. But I want to talk about Parshavi Chopra, leg spinner, not the usual breed of spinners that we see in India, more left arm angle. How good and exciting is she as a prospect?
Very exciting because there were a lot of people who actually sort of doubted the ability of under 19 cricketers, citing that there was a big drop off in standard between under 19 players and the international teams.
Yeah.
But then she's clearly shown that there's nothing of that sort. And one more thing to point out, like her leg spin as well, she bowled more from the front of her hand, and she really had great control in terms of how she was bowling her lines and lengths.
Yeah.
She was really good to watch.
I mean, because there's like almost paucity of leg spinners in our country, is she almost kind of superseding her way through?
Definitely. I mean, you can see Asha, you can see Poonam, you can see her, and that's pretty much the end of the list. We've hardly seen any Indian leg spinners play in the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it actually it bodes well for the Indian team going forward to have to see the likes of Asha and Pashvi perform so well.
Oh, hold on here. Oh, it's just no woman's land, as we like to call them. These are what's long they'll run away for 4. But yeah, some good points about Parshavi Chopra. Watch that space carefully, guys, because look, 2 for 29. It's not very often that you outbowl someone like Eccleston and Dipti in the day, but that should probably be up on her CV early on. Keep the comments coming through. Bharat Kotwani, good to see you as ever. Dipti's conceded at least 1-6 in every match in WPL that's over. Something to maybe consider, but I don't know. Nix, I mean, I don't know what it is with Dipti this tournament, but we haven't really seen the best version of her, right?
Yeah, I think, and we'll see it probably in the finals directly. She's someone for the big days, and as I said, it's a usage. Hopefully, they can better that, and see, you can see sometimes teams try out things for the sake of it, that okay, let's try somebody, because you can bank on somebody like Deepti towards the end, and it was always going to be the set batter who will trouble her, and that's what happened. And she quickly, the thing about Deepti, she was able to adjust quickly to that a couple of sixes, and that is
True.
what will help her going ahead. And with the pitches slowing down, I mean, Brabourne is also it's almost like waiting for you to just play and bowl like 20 overs of spin. So I'm sure DY will also go down
Yeah,
that
I think this will be gone.
Oh, this is gone here. This is gone here. I
again poor
mean,
batting.
literally,
The only
luck
matchup,
doesn't.
only matchup that Kiran has in this side who can trouble her with pace is Kim Gath, and she gets out to her. It's just very poor game awareness. It's very poor.
I mean,
I,
that's
I
honestly
was I was
saying,
just
right?
going to say this, that uh, given given that it's an Indian domestic batter, I mean, the easiest thing for a lot of captains sometimes is to give the ball to someone who can really bang it in, because that is most of the times the weakness of an Indian domestic batter. And Kiran
And
just played into the hands. I think this was probably, yep.
honestly, a
He
shit show from her perspective. She was livid as well, and 19 for 2. It's not looking good. But look, again, like Akshay said, the over reliance on the girls to come, such as Talia McGrath and Grace Harris. I don't know which one of them will pop up now. Most probably Talia McGrath, and then they'll pull Grace Harris back, and not to forget Dipti. Just coming back to that point about Dipti, and I want to get Gurkirat and Akshay's thoughts about this. He mentioned usage, and he was critical of it, not just today, but in the previous watch-alongs as well. And Nix is one person who sees Dipti in terms of a lot of cricket of her. How do you get the maximum out of Dipti as a bowler and a batter? What's your ideal scenario for her?
I mean, to be honest, right now with the way she's playing with the bat right now, it's really hard to make good use of her.
Mhm.
She really, I mean, I've actually given it. I've tried thinking about where could she probably slot in to make best use of her. Maybe number 3 as an anchor around hitters, like for the Indian team at least, for around hitters like Shafali and Smriti. But she tends to consume a lot of balls, and also the upside after getting set, she doesn't really accelerate as fast as you would want her to.
Correct.
So that's another problem. And when it comes to her bowling, of course, the Indian team has always used her as their primary death bowler, and she's done that well for them. An off season here, and she's also not been used well here, like Mix pointed out here.
Yeah.
And in this game in particular, we had a lot. GT is an RHP heavy lineup.
Yeah.
So if you see, they did not have a single left hand batter. And on top of that, like Mix mentioned, Gardner was a positive matchup for her. She should have ideally gotten her wicket.
Yeah.
But then it just didn't help that she was bowling from the wrong end. With the leg side being the shorter boundary, and knowing Gardner's affinity to go towards the leg side, it just didn't help her.
Yeah, it's poor tactics which is costing someone like Dipti Gurkirat. What's your take on the whole thing? And because she's such a good player, and I'm sure she'll come good, like Nick says, but are they using her to her potential and then getting the best out of her?
I, th- I think it's also down to a little bit of her confidence, because I was just looking at some numbers. Her economy rate in this tournament is around 8.38, and that's slightly on the higher side, for especially for someone like Deepti, who's known to bowl at the death even for the Indian team. So I guess this happens because sometimes player doesn't have the confidence, and then when you lose games, you're really not sure how to how to get the best out of a player. And like Akshay mentioned, when they did promote her and she was batting at 5, I think it was in the first 2-3 games, she really couldn't get going. So yeah, it's something which you see with teams quite often, that they are also not sure on how to get the best out of it, and they just want to try anything and everything that works at that point of time and then stick with it. It's something that we see with the Punjab franchise a lot in the Indian T20 league as well.
Yeah, chopping and changing. I mean, it's fair to say that it's still the first season, so many of these teams are still finding their feet. We understand that Mumbai and Delhi, of course, have showed their class compared to the other teams, but let's see how everything really goes forward. Devika Vaidya was stuck the last game, I think 1 of 7, but today I think she'll be expected to bat till a certain number of overs because look, there's not that much batting apart from Grace Harris and Dipti. I know there's Simran Sheikh. Is she playing today?
Yeah,
She's playing today as well. So, and Eccleston, who can always punch back, of course. Every time they depend on McGrath Harris, UP Warriors can't win with either eliminate or leave aside the final. It just makes me think about what is their best team because, of course, they have that particular problem with the domestic batters. But right now, surely they're thinking some changes, or you wouldn't change anything.
I mean, they don't really have a lot of options, be it their overseas contingent or their Indian contingent. Maybe, getting Vaidya out probably would be something I would want to do.
Yeah.
Despite, Sehrawat having those poor performances, I really like what I saw of her
Yeah,
the first few games. I wish that, the management probably gave her an extended rope during the league stage. Of course, come the eliminator, come the playoffs, I don't really see them making any major changes.
Yeah, I think because look, essentially, you look at certain teams, like for example, Hyderabad. In all these years, we've seen them in the men's competition and how they've just been known as a bowling-heavy team. I think it's fair to say the same about UP. I mean, will they? Should they next just stick to their strengths in terms of doing what Hyderabad did? Right. You look at that 2016 season; they relied on their bowlers as well, and that kind of won them the game. And of course, there was a dependency on people like Warner and people like that where they can rely on Healy and they can rely on McGrath and stuff. Do you think that's their modus operandi?
Just see, to be honest, their squad does look pretty much settled. I mean, there
Yeah.
aren't too many spots that you want to bother around with. And with Kiran, I'm more worried about her execution than the plan. And she's someone who I know will get a lot of runs ahead. It's just talking to them in terms of what is the best for them. And I think the only problem for UP has been Devika hasn't got going. Now this game is the best one for her to get a good score. So then eventually you're just worried about one player who even that player has got a 50 at the start of the tournament. So in that sense, your core is still ready and forming and performing is just about using them in the right stages at the right time, which is why Pershvi Chopra being used in the end overs was very critical because if the surfaces are slowing down, you would not want to not try. Every team is packed with better batters up top. Once you get into the lower half, people like her can really take two in an over, and Gaikwad also took 2 wickets today. So, in that sense, the team is shaping up well. It's just those small pieces that they need to start fine tuning. And of course, too late to try Sherawat in that sense because they've backed Devika all season. So, just do that for 2 more games. And yeah, once the trophy is done, maybe next year, let's see.
I like the confidence that this man has. Look, me and Akshay as Bangalore fans are hoping that it is a big win from a Gujarat perspective because UP the only team which can be knocked off their perch. Abdish Kukiat makes I can't still digest yesterday's loss, getting all out under 120 on a home pitch, and then Rohit's press conference didn't show any amendment for such situations. Now we kind of refrain to talk about the men's side of things on the women's watch along, but we'll have an exception for Chachant today because it's Monday blues, pun intended. Gurkiyat, why didn't you take that, please? And he's on mute.
See, so much to say that he's on mute.
I've stopped taking press conferences seriously because it's been a pattern that regardless of who comes in the press conference, they say something and you can be assured that the opposite is going to happen. And this is not something which is in line with this management. It was a feature of the Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri era as well. I mean, I remember there was this particular series in 2021 when India were about to play England at home, and Virat Kohli said that KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma are our first choice openers, and people were already saying that this means that in the first game Shikhar Dhawan is going to play, and it happened. Rohit Sharma had taken a rest, but it happened. So I don't take press conferences seriously anymore. See, and you also have to understand that sometimes there are limitations for a player and coach as well. Now, if a player is not doing well, right? Like how KL Rahul wasn't doing well in test matches, and if you ask a coach, a batting coach, or a coach that, what do you think? In that press conference, no coach or no captain is going to admit, oh, we are going to drop that player. I mean, then what kind of a message are you sending to that player? At least in public, you have to back the players that you have, right? It's something even we would practice in our daily lives when we are in sort of a leadership position. Say if Somesh doesn't like any one of us or our work, he's not going to come on this watch along and say, okay, this so and so person is not doing well. He's
He
obviously going to
might.
defend us, right?
He might. You never know.
Yeah, no, I trust him. I don't think he's going to do that. So there's that bit of it. I don't think you can always get honest answers on in terms of selections in the press conference, because then it puts the player in question under far more pressure and further scrutiny, which you don't want. That is one. And the other about
Oh,
tactics is
gone.
something.
Sorry to disturb you, but gone. It was brilliant bit of bowling. She went for 2 fours in this over, Tanuja Kanwar, but she's outfoxed Dev Kavedia, who again departs for a really modest score, 7 of 8, and UP are really in trouble, Akshay, 39 for 3.
Definitely losing 3 wickets in the power play. This is no dream start for me as an RCB fan. So I just couldn't have asked for more.
Couldn't ask for more. Gurkia was going on about good points about pressers, and he's bang on because at times as Indian cricket fans, we don't get the honesty. We never kind of get the honesty, even if they make a big announcement. Gone are the days where they actually have press conferences now, and even if they do, it's all a bunch of laughs and jokes and the same old media
See,
bullshit.
there are things for which there should be honesty in the public space. Like if a player is
Like,
injured, right? On that bit, yes, I think honesty is definitely required, because say now Jasprit Bumrah's, I think, been out for, I don't know, maybe 6 months. It's been 6 months that he's not played a game. I think the last he played was the second T20I versus Australia, if I'm not
correct.
wrong, the shortened one. And since then he hasn't played, right? Earlier when he got injured, you're saying, okay, we are trying to get him fit. Then he was given a rest. Then he was selected for the Sri Lanka series. Then he was rested again. His recovery wasn't fully done. Then he was selected for the Australia series, and it was said that, okay, subject to fitness, he might play. And then he was out. And then we hear that, okay, we he'll probably have a surgery, and none of this has officially come yet. We still don't have an official replacement for Shreyas Iyer. In fact, I don't think there's an official press release or a tweet that has come out from the BCCI handle saying that Shreyas Iyer has been ruled out of the Australia ODI series. So that is where fans, and I think who are the biggest, who I feel are the biggest stakeholders, that is where they deserve honesty. But if you are really going to put a captain on the spot, okay, asking, is so and so player going to get selected in the team, I don't think you can get an honest answer over there. And I think that is also fair, because you're, as a captain or as a leader, your first instinct is to protect your players. Even if I am in that spot, and if I have to drop anyone, I'm not going to admit in the press conference. I'll just go up and have that conversation along with the coach with that player, right? That why I'm dropping a so and so player.
Yeah.
So that is where I don't think you can ever expect complete honesty. I think from where the frustration comes is uh, when you say something about tactics and then you do completely the other thing, right? That is something that that doesn't really sit well with the fans. I mean, if you're going to say that, oh, you have to prepare for the T20 World Cup, and you have to prepare for so and so tournament, and despite knowing that you don't bat first well, if at the very first opportunity in a bilateral series you win the toss and you choose to bowl, then that is something that doesn't sit well, right?
Well,
Then
I
I think
agree.
that is something that is frustrating. And again, it's not that this has only happened with Rohit Sharma. It has happened even with Hardik Pandya.
Yeah.
And I've said this, that as long as there is pressure on captains to win bilaterals just so that they can get a W against their name, and there is no public outrage, this will continue to happen. Captains will come out and say, we want to prepare for a pressure situation in the World Cup, but they will take the safest option possible in every bilateral, because one loss really means that the knives are out.
Yeah.
So
And it's
it's
well
it's
food for
just a
thought
vicious
that
cycle which will continue.
yeah, it'll keep continuing, and that's the problem with Indian cricket. Because look, at times, even in our country or generally in life nowadays, it feels like public memory is short, and especially with these press conferences which come and go, you never really kind of tend to believe it, and you kind of read between the lines at all times. Now, 43 for 3, just getting back to this game, it's that perfect duo that UP have relied upon and want to continue to do so in the days going forward, which is, of course, Talia McGrath and Grace Harris. Now, this is the partnership which will probably make or break the game. Sneh Rana has introduced herself into the attack, who bowled beautifully, by the way, in that shambles of a bowling display generally against Bangalore that evening. but two
Good
back-to-back
thing.
47 for 3. And I don't know. I mean, they're already kind of playing catch-up cricket right now, UP, because they're behind the 8 ball. What is the way to go forward right now? How are they seeing it? Are they going to just counter-attack and be their true Aussie selves, or?
I mean, sorry, Nick, you were saying something?
I was just saying that I don't think they are too far behind the net run, the required run rate. If
No,
they
but
can,
with boundaries like this, Gurkiat, it's helping the cause. 3 already.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they can, if this pair can bat till the 10th over and just sort of look to reach 75, 80, which is possible, because I don't think it's impossible. Even if they try and just target 75 runs on the board till the 10th over, which basically means run a ball in the next 4 overs, I think they'll be very much in the chase.
Okay. How do you get Grace Harris out? Because I know Talia McGrath is also a fine player, Akshay and Nix, but who you guys throwing the ball to if you're Sneerana? Are there any potential matchups here, Akshay and then Nix?
I'm really sort of clutching at straws here. The Gujarat's bowling lineup doesn't really inspire any confidence right now.
Yeah.
And just to take Gurkirat's point forward, I don't think they'll be sort of taking singles around. Knowing them, they'll just keep going the way they usually do, and also knowing Gujarat's bowling attack, there aren't really any bowlers they have to sort of be wary of. They will just keep going. They'll play their natural game, which is to just counter attack and go 10 overs, 90 for 3 is actually not that big an ask and not that far fetched to think of. So yeah, it's going to be really hard to get these two out for sure.
Okay, Nick, on the contrary then, I know there's no particular bowler which excites you from Gujarat that you could throw the ball to, but would it be pace, which is more susceptibility for Talia McGrath and Grace Harris, or is it spin?
I think it will be a couple of overs of spin. I'm sure Kanwar will get another chance here to strike. The matchup is good versus Talia. For Grace, the matchups are the numbers don't tell you that she's struggled. I mean, the numbers tell you that she's going to strike for fun. But I think there is enough help for the spinners. It's just the right length and the right pace. Hoping cover bowls enough dot balls so that Gardner can attack from the other end, because they'll have to keep attacking. Gujarat cannot rely on saying that let's build pressure and take wicket, because they need a big win. For a big win, you have to keep striking. You can't allow a part or any kind of partnership to grow. So I think it will be Tanuja from this end. Probably Gardner bowls another, or they'll go back to Kimgath for one, because Sneerana got hit for a long. And now again, if they turn to Hemlata and she strikes, then nothing like it. Maybe third day, but I think cover Gardner and then Kimgath as
Then maybe we
potential
can call
option.
her Dayam Hemlata.
Yeah, and so both going on to say, if UP wins today, Bangalore will be out of the top. I mean, thanks. I mean, really, I didn't understand that one.
She just got her bat on it.
She's got a little bit of a feather.
Subodh always says the stuff that Avnish never wants to hear.
Honestly, man, he just like gaslights in the comments. Number 4 Indian team is Curse, Rishabh, and Shreyas. I mean, I hate taking the one. Why can't you ask us about women's cricket when we're doing women's watch-alongs? I mean, I know there's Gurkirat and Nix and Akshay, and we would love to talk about that. But then the problem is we'll go on to it way too long. And that's why I can't.
We'll talk at length on Thursday in my show.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Let's save all those questions till then.
Let's save all those questions till then. Now, I just want to ask you guys various bunch of things, what we've seen so far in the Women's T20 League. And I want to start with Gujarat here because they're inevitably out. Some would say they're already out. What is their biggest takeaway? I know they lost Beth Mooney early on and they got Laura Ulpa and all of that. Akshay, you can start it. What have you liked? What have you disliked with Gujarat?
I would say, Himlata coming good for them in today's game would be one positive.
Yeah.
Outside that, their bowling is something they'll really have to, look hard at. Post the auction itself, this was something that became very clear that, their bowling attack would struggle.
Yeah.
Their batting, on the other hand, they did have a lot of top order options, but then it did have that Beth Mooney got injured on the first in the first game.
Yeah.
And it's mainly their batting that they'll be, happy about, but then their bowling is something they'll be really looking hard at come the next auction. So,
yeah. I mean, it makes you think, right, Nix? I mean, essentially, when you look at their team on paper, it does flatter to deceive at times. And is it a fair reflection on the points table where they find themselves at, given the talent at their disposal?
Yeah, fairly. And it's also how you treat players. Sorry, but they haven't got their acts right with how they behave with Deandra Doughton in terms of whatever is transpired. It wasn't clear, transparent, but again, it's classic BCCI function. You hardly see it happening anywhere. And as he rightly said out, Akshay, that the weakness was always there in front of you. The one thing that I do feel they've done better as not better, maybe slightly better as compared to others is trust their Indians more, and that is better as compared to the others. They pushed Hemlata up. They had Harleen batting up top, and that's a good sign. They used Mansi Joshi at the start, Monica Patel at the start. You have Tanuja Kaur who has bowled very well but doesn't have the wickets for it.
The left
So
arm pacer as well. I think
yeah, Monica
Anjali Sarwan.
Anjali is with UP. That's with UP.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
confused. Sorry.
Yeah, not a problem. So Monica Patel, so you have enough Indian core who we've seen what they can do, and now you have to add the other pieces in accordance to that. Again, it was the obsession with the overseas all-rounders that has probably cost them a few games. They could have simply not played Sutherland, but again, it's first season. But what slightly again you could say surprises or doesn't surprises, Mithali Raj has been around for decades.
Yeah.
If she can't figure this out, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to consider going into the next season, Gurkirat. How much would you rate Sneh Rana as a captain? I know it's a small sample size, and she had to, of course, fill in for Beth Mooney. Many people saying from the offset it should have been Sneh Rana. Any particular thing that you've spotted in her captaincy?
Not really. I felt that a lot of her captaincy was just sticking to plan A's, the ones that have been decided before game, and not really change stuff up. I think though, as a player, she could have contributed more, but I think it had to do with her injury, her hand injury, because I would have liked to see her, sometimes bat, not bad at number 10, which happened in one of the games. Probably like, and I've said this before that I think she shouldn't be batting beyond number 8. Ideally, she should be a number 7, because I've seen her do well with India. She also has the power sometimes to clear those boundaries. So yeah, I think maybe if Sneh Rana as a player would have done well, then it would have made the task of Sneh Rana, the captain, a lot more easier. I think her injury also played a part in it, which sort of played a part in her captaincy, because she couldn't rely on herself to do a lot more than what she could have than what she could have done if she was fit. I thought.
Yeah, Sneh Rana, of course. Some of them also actually critiquing her in terms of captaincy, saying that she's more reactive than proactive. It's the usual stuff that gets thrown at a captain, I'm guessing. Hey, Avnish, bro, I'm not making fun of you commenting on RCB. I'm just saying if it were absolutely subordinate, just tongue in cheek. All of us love you because honestly, you're one of the most chattiest fans in the comments, and we love that. So keep the comments coming through. And if you have any questions about the women's game, happy to answer. Now, back-to-back boundaries, and that's why you see the boys clapping. And the left arm are brought back right now just to maybe create something different. She got the wicket already, remember. So hopefully Sneh Rana wants a repeat of that. 64 for 37.5. And I'm looking at the cricket.com app right now to see what Criclytics suggests, because sometimes it gives you a fair estimate of how the game is really dwindling. Right now, as it stands, there's a 66% favor of Gujarat.
I have a question. I have a question to ask to Akshay and
Sure.
Nikhil. Maybe even Avnish can answer this. But I don't know if it's a trend or if it's just restricted to this tournament. But I've seen so many players just, especially right-handers, come down the track and play the inside out against left arm spin. You don't see that, a lot of that in men's cricket anymore. It's probably, they probably just play left arm spin from the crease, or resort to the sweep shot a lot more. But I've just seen so many batters come down the track and just open up the offside and go play inside out. Is it a general trend in women's cricket, or is it something that we have only seen in this tournament?
Nick, you want to
I
start?
think it's also a lot to do with who they're taking on. Like you won't see them doing it as much against Sophie, as much against say a Tanuja
I
Kanwar
think she's
or
also flatter. I think Sophie's a
yeah,
bit like Akshar, flatter and
yeah.
quicker.
And so that's the reason. Like she's flat, she's quick through the air. Most of the left arm spin so far in women's cricket is still very, very traditional. Even Rajeshwari Gaikwad, you see, they are very traditional. say give you loop, and then there is space for you to work with. If it's flat, you can't come down, and there's a risk missing it. So I think that's one of the key reasons why they are happy to even stay beside the line, which you don't often see even in men's cricket, where they are staying beside the line to go over covers. So Surya will still do it because he's Surya Kumar Yadav, but in T20 format, and that's a good shot again from Talyab. So
That's a
yes, I think
beautiful.
it's the pace and the line that the left arm spinners are bowling.
Also, one more thing, it also has, I feel it also has to do with the fact that, in women's cricket, there are only four players outside, the fielding restrictions. That has a big role to play because if you look at most fielding, I mean, most sides, their fielding plan is usually, have all players, every fielder inside the circle on the offside and usually strengthen their leg side. So this has a lot to do, and this makes it easier for them to just step out and make sure they clear the inner field and they have a boundary, just like we saw in the
But
previous.
why is that? I mean, that's a great point that you just touched upon there because I was asking you that because so many times I've seen so many games right now where the 18th game, and that's the trend, right? If you just manage to pierce the gap in the offside, invariably going to get four. Is that because of the fielding restriction purely?
It predominantly has to do with that. Of course, a lot of it also boils down to how a bowler is bowling, like Nixon Jokira point out. Female spinners do tend to flight it a lot more. We don't
Yeah.
have a lot of quick, flattish spinners in women's cricket. But I feel that the fielding restrictions they do play a role in that because it just makes their lives easier. You
Yeah.
wouldn't see in men's cricket you more often than not have someone in the deep, either a deep extra cover or someone there in the deep. So it makes no sense for them to simply step out if they're not confident enough to clear the boundary,
Yeah.
clear the fence.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's food for thought that because you look at it from even half
Shot.
Eve on the leg side, and that's four more. Talia McGrath is in some serious form right now, and she's of course not playing second fiddle by any means. 74 for three. I think also if you look at it from the first innings perspective, Gujarat were in a similar situation. So let's see. I mean, maybe they're doing what Hemlata and Ash Gardner did in the
Yeah.
first inning.
Can
But yeah.
can Tahalia McGrath clear the 94-meter boundary record which Sophie Devine made that day?
Easily.
Those,
Oh, nice,
Yes.
nice. That's a good wake up. That's
No,
a good wake up.
Make up.
And you should do this against UP of all teams because Deepti in this tournament has pulled out of her action so many times.
Yeah, yeah.
Though, and plus, Dipti will be telling her fellow teammates saying, "You have to be there because this is my scene." So obviously, like generally, she wouldn't want her teammates. That's a joke.
But I do think on few occasions she just pulled out because she wanted to know where the batter was going to hit her, even when the non-striker was in.
Yeah, Grace Harris was a little dopey there. Some would say at the non-strikers end. I have lots of questions regarding men's team. Whenever I get the chance to ask, okay, just shoot it. We'll spend very little time in it. Gurkirat, you can't answer more than 30 seconds. That's the rule.
That you'd rather not have the question than give him just 30 seconds for it. Sorry.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Or
There's
15
a,
seconds.
there's a reason I don't do a lot of reels content on Instagram.
Because our
It
man
takes
here loves
30 seconds
stating,
to warm up.
giving historical evidence, and then he'll get into the answers. So I'll tell you what, Mr. Lodha, first of all, subscribe if you're new, and we will, of course, take your questions.
I'm that person. I'm that person who used to give explanations even in MCQs.
Hardly surprising.
And I didn't change myself even after getting negatively marked.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So for him, answer in one sentence is answer in brief forever, for lifelong.
Which is, yeah, literally. Because normally in the previous shows, I've gone, Gurki, give me one word, please, and then he'll give me 3 sentences. If I tell him 3 sentences, he'll give me a paragraph minimum.
Yeah,
So
and
it just goes on.
which is
But
why doing
we are
watch
not-
along with him is the best part, because when you know he starts, you have enough time to just gather your thoughts, frame whatever you want to say, and then he'll still be on at the mid point of it. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So, Mr. Lola and everyone else watching, keep your comments coming through. We'll, of course, get Nick's answer at Gurkirat, Akshay, and me. But meanwhile, Shaunak, do me a favor and play the odds feature because that's something brand new that we'd like to promote on the watch-alongs. And in essentially what we're doing is also telling you about the cricket.com app, which is brand new, it's refurbished, given a good facelift, and brand new features. Check it out, and we'll be back with more in 30 seconds. If Shaunak is alive, that is. I hope Shaunak has heard me. That's one way of the producer not hearing commands. Okay, whenever Shaunak decides to wake up and smell the coffee, do that. But meanwhile, you guys can take this opportunity to download the cricket.com app. There's some fantastic features also the boys have written.
Yeah.
One on Mitchell Stark,
I think
which is
I
great
think
as
it's
well.
the time
I
of
didn't know
doing
Mitchell Stark made his international debut in Vizag, and I was reading that and I was like, wow, it's almost like life's come a full circle. And it makes you think if Stark
yeah
is
the same game Shikhar Dhawan made his debut.
yeah, which is nuts, right? And it was making me ask the boys a question yesterday in the watchalong that we were doing that Australia finished in 11 overs or whatever. If Stark was the GOAT in ODIs, and some of the data that you see in that article, I mean, might make you think twice. So check that article out and it'll be fun to watch. Guys, who's winning this game? Because it's exactly 102 to win from 11 overs. Is it still a 50-50 here, or do you think this partnership is taking that away?
I mean, as much as I want the Giants to win, I don't really see how are they breaking this partnership right now. Like, who's going to play the Parshvi role
Yeah.
from the previous innings? I just hope they somehow break this partnership, because post this, there's not a lot of batting to come. Of course, you do have Deepti Sharma.
So it's more of the case of Grace Harris and Talia McGrath making mistakes
Yep.
rather than kind of thing. But will they make those mistakes?
Hard. I mean, the thing is, even most of their mistakes, most of their mishits tend to clear grounds.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more difficult. So the margin for error is really, really small.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Gujarat is really coming from a proper hammering in their previous game.
That's true.
The
The margin for error in that comment as well is really, really small. He says Gurkira definitely looks like that extraordinary student who gets 100 or 100 marks all the time. And I'll tell you what, he's not one of those students who prepares last minute the previous night. He's one to get the textbooks 1 month in advance and doing all the due diligence that he can do, I'm sure. And if the exams are about food, I don't even know. He might just. I'll leave that there.
He may even ask the invigilator whether you have enough to judge me.
For sure. How would you rank uncapped Indian spinners who can debut for India in the future? Tanuja Kanwar, Saika Ishaq, Asha Shobna, Shriyanka Patil, and Parshavi Chopra. That's a great question from Abhinav. Maybe Nick can start this, then Gurkirat, and Akshay.
Excellent question. I think something that gets you very excited. See, firstly, I definitely want to begin with Shriyanka Patil. The reason is very evident. She can bowl towards the end. Yes, of course, she's from Bangalore, so I do get that thumbs up from Avnish. But so that's requirement number one, because you've always overly relied on Deepti, and you've had to bowl one of the pacers whose strength is not to bowl towards the end. So Shriyanka Patil in that way will solve two things. She'll also give you something with the bat. So there's batting depth there. So I think one would be Shriyanka Patil. Then I would go Saika Ishak, because she's adding that value with left arm spin. So keeps pressure on Rajeshwari and Radha. The third would be Asha, Shobana Asha. Again, she's bowled with great control in this tournament already. So these three will probably be the first ones who I think may directly get into the system very quickly, post this WPL or the next one. And then I think you have time with Parshvi, because she's very young. So there's enough time for her to learn on the go, spend a couple of seasons, and then we take it from there. So yeah, in that order. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Parshavi is an
Shriyanka,
interesting one.
Saika,
But yeah,
Saika,
good-
Ashaya.
Yeah, good points from Nick though. But Parshavi is an interesting one because Akshay brought the point up Gurkirat earlier. The fact that we have, just not that many leg spinners going around. We've seen, I don't know, an example in cricket, maybe could be Rehan Ahmed, and how he's kind of been a young guy featuring in that England setup. How do you rank these particular names that you see on your screen? And who excites you the most? Like Nick mentioned.
I actually like Saika Ishak the most amongst all of them. And the reason for that is I think she really has the smarts. She really, from whatever I have seen in this tournament, she's figured out how when to bowl quicker and when to bowl slower, quite quickly. And my mind goes back to this game between Delhi and Mumbai. She knew Shefali was going to come after her. Uh, gave the ball a little bit of air, bowled it slower, and bowled it away from her. Shifali still managed to clear the mid-off fielder, and next ball she knew that Shifali is probably not going to come out because she was beaten in the air, and then she fired it in almost at a Yorker length and got Shifali out bowled. So even though what Nikhil mentioned that she's not really bowled at the death, I still think that she has the smarts to bowl at the death if she becomes, if she plays a lot more and keeps improving. So that there's that. And yeah, I liked Asha as well. I've not seen enough of Parshavi or cover to make an on to make a a detailed assessment. But for me, it would be Saika, Shriyanka, and Asha in the top three.
Okay, fair. You agree with those thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in parts for sure. Of course, it'll be foolish for me to try and rate them in terms of how good all of them are amazing players. But I do agree with Gurkirat in that Saika probably has the best shot at getting the Indian cap right after the WPL, mainly because Rajeshwari Gaikwad and Radha Yadav both have been subpar for a long time now, and for the longest time, most of them didn't even know that Saika Isha could be a potential
Yeah.
option. And of course, it didn't help that her domestic numbers didn't really look that great. Of course, after this performance, she deserves a call up straight away. And after that, Asha Shobna, the kind of control she's shown, it's amazing to watch. In fact, what's even more upsetting is the fact that just before the tournament began, Ben Sawyer in one of RCB in one of those interviews had actually had mentioned that she's one player to look out for. She's really coming out good in the nets. And despite that, just after one game, they dropped her and did not bring her back till the fifth game. And that was very strange to see. And yeah, so Asha Shobna would be another player who would get a cap sooner or later. And it doesn't help that age is not really on her side. She's already 31. So waiting on her wouldn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
She also can tonk the ball a long way. And that's something Manita vouches for.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we can look out for. Shriyanka, her death bowling has really been fantastic. Gardner's wicket from the last game.
So
it
I was
can-
about to say it was just that Gardner wicket that made me rank her first. It was
Yeah.
you love to see.
Exactly. Yeah. And if, in fact, I would say that this was I mean, the ball was an exact replica of what she bowled to Harleen Deol in the reverse encounter. That was also middle stump Yorker, and that hit the stumps. This hit the pads. So she has great control over her Yorkers. In fact, her coach Arjun Dev, he's again someone who really sort of talks very highly of her. And he even, in fact, tweeted yesterday about how she visualized the Gardner wicket for a long time. So yeah, Shriyanka would again be another player who deserves a call up. So for me, it would be Aisha getting the call up first, then Asha, then it would be Shriyanka, and Parshvi. Yeah, she has age on her side, so let her develop, give her a couple of seasons so that she can play under all these great players.
Yeah.
And I would say the same for Tanuja Kanwar. She's not really had the greatest of seasons. But yeah, I mean, in terms of wickets, that is, she did bowl a couple of good spells in the early games, but she's gone for a few runs in the last couple of games. So I would say again, for me, Pashvi and Tanuja Kanwar, like giving them a couple of seasons to groom and develop, and then yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say that India are in safe hands in terms of what's to come. A couple of late bloomers there, as you saw, Asha Shobna, of course, but let's see how all those 5 separate stories meander across. Because, like he mentioned, Rajeshwari Gaikwad and Radha Yadav don't know now that so many spinners are breathing on their back. And, of course, the firm favourite is Deepti Sharma, who would keep her place, and I hope so because she brings so much to that Indian team. But great question, Abhinav. Keep them coming through. Even Sachin, I think, had a question for us. There are a few others which we'll be happy to take in this chase that UP are kind of swimmingly going about. 89 for 311 overs gone. There's another one coming in from Jaydeep Gajera. Good to see you, new face in the comments. Where should Dipti bat? She doesn't seem a T20 batter. Ouch. She can be an anchor maybe, but mostly looks better for stopping a collapse in this batting lineup. It was a question that I asked Nix earlier. Nix, the usage bit, it comes back to her with the bat this time around. Can she probably do what Kiran Navgere is doing in this team? Or is that too much to ask?
I think they decided on that spot for Kiran pre-season, and they've stuck to it, which is great because you want to give Kiran that time and responsibility that you are our number 3 and set the tone for us. So in that sense, it was fair. I do feel they should actually use Deepti as somebody because they've also lost a lot of wickets earlier. And that's where I've sometimes found it very strange that they haven't sent Deepti out to bat. Because Deepti is someone, as they said, see, there are few players. Now, again, I could be wrong, but this is me. I feel there are some players who need a very good ball to get out. MS was one of them. You have to bowl a good ball to get them out. It's very rare for them to make a mistake in the first 10, like 5-10 balls. So I think Deepthi is one of those players who doesn't make a mistake as to say SRK as a silly or a rash shot in the first 10-15 balls. So if you want somebody to arrest a collapse or just spend some time in the middle, then I think she has to be used as a floater. I don't think you can define a fixed position for her. So use her as a floater or someone who you want. Okay, we know this is going to be bold, and we know this is something that Deepthi can target. Then you send her. So give her a role of a floater and a senior player. Okay, that is a great shot. I'm sorry,
Oh, that is a super shot.
terrific
I
shot.
was just going to ask you guys because I was looking at it and I'm like, Hardin Diol is, of course, coming to the attack. What are the thoughts here?
I mean, right now they're just getting whoever they can. I mean,
It's a dice that they've thrown,
like they say.
and
Sorry,
they're hoping it.
it's like
Yeah.
they say.
It's a last throw of the dice.
Yeah.
Gurkiat, I mean, you mentioned it earlier at the beginning of the Watchalong thing. If these two are remaining around till the 10th over, it's going to be absolute a cakewalk. That's exactly what's happening. And he's on mute again.
Yeah, I think maybe Grace Harris will give them a chance somewhere, but I don't see McGrath offering them a chance. Like Nikhil mentioned, I think it would probably require a very good ball to get McGrath out. Grace Harris, because she might attack a little bit more, she might offer a chance, but yeah, not to this kind of a bowling. I mean, this is right now just throwing something at the wall and hoping it sticks.
This was
There's more
iconic
like that.
garbage. I mean, come on. I mean, I love Herline Dior for whatever she's achieved so far in her little career, but I mean,
No, but
Sri Rana
what
could
is
probably use
what
better
is
options.
is Herline bowling off spin from behind her wrist? Like,
She
is
can
this a
bowl a
bit
bit
like
of both.
So
no? Because she's holding the ball like how a leg
Yeah,
spinner
yeah.
would do.
That's a
Oh,
great
she's
shot.
again. It's an action replay of that sits. It really
But
is.
How-
this is something very rare. Holding
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ball like how a leg spinner does, and
Yeah.
then releasing off spin from your wrist. It's something
She
which
can do both.
th-
Yeah.
there is only one off spin wrist spinner, who's Muthaya
Two.
Muralidharan.
Of course. Two.
Who's the
Ashwin?
other? Ashwin doesn't do it quite often. Ashwin still uses his fingers to spin the ball, not really the wrist. But this is something
Yeah.
which is very fascinating. Even though she may not have the control, but good to see.
Ooh, that's natural variation there.
At this point of time, I am only interested about seeing how she's releasing the ball. That is something which is interesting.
No, but it's a good question that even Abhinav's asked. Why did you now just throw the ball to Himlata?
I don't think she's
think-
fit to bowl right now. So
Yeah. The problem,
she
yeah.
won't be available to bowl.
Why so much? What 57 that she hit and it wasn't that long.
I mean, she's still recovering. In fact, that's I'm not exactly sure. To what extent has she recovered right now? So it's been a while. In fact, since she last bowled, she didn't bowl even in the large domestic T20 tournament, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't see her bowling right now. If anything, I guess Kim Garth would be the best option right now.
I mean, anyone right now, because look, if Bangalore needs to stay alive, UP cannot win, but I don't think Bangalore will stay alive. It's hoping for so much from one particular team. Guys, I want to ask you something absolutely
Abhish,
random.
the calculators need a rest.
Sorry?
The calculators need a rest. Save them for the next
Sure.
tournament.
And Mr. Lodha will be tuning into your Thursday show, Gurkila. That's good to know. That is good
I'll
to
be
know.
waiting.
He'll be waiting. Guys, okay, fine. So we saw 2 sixes, I think, and a boundary in the last over. Made me just think of that competition that the men's tournament used to have way back in the day, when they used to finish the games and then have a bowling machine at them with the sixes being measured, the longest sixes and all of that. If they do that in the women's game, who are the contenders to win that award? Will it be Sophie Devine? Will it be someone like Grace Harris, Talia McGrath? I want you guys to tell me who and tell me why. Gurpreet, you could start.
Apart from these three names, I think Harman can also be someone who can challenge them. And I'm not sure if she'll win it, but she can challenge them. But yeah, I'd put my money on Grace Harris.
Shefali?
No,
No?
I don't think. I don't think so.
Any other Indian?
I think I don't think Shefali has as much raw power. When she hits it big, she actually uses the momentum of her body to come forward and then hit it. I've rarely seen Shefali hit big while standing in the crease. It's something that I've seen with Harman a lot, but I don't think Shefali has has the raw power. But yeah, I'd put my money on Grace Harris to win it.
Okay, Grace Harris for him.
I mean, from Indians, I would say Kiran Navgire probably has a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if the ball's not bowled at pace, then sure.
It's just a bowling machine, anyways.
So yeah, if they calibrate this way, then yeah, for sure, Kiran Navgire. In fact, one player that I was actually looking forward to watching was Jasya Akbar. She didn't
Yeah.
really get a game. Hopefully she might, but then she actually hits the ball really long, and she's known for her really long sixes. So
Hopefully, Delhi play tonight and we see Jasya Akhtar. I really want to see her.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Nick's are curious because Vaishali's mentioned her, Mohit's mentioned her, now you're mentioning her. So let's see how that goes. So Grace Harris and who do you think it is?
Sophie Devine. these
Okay,
two,
Sophie Devine. Nick,
See,
you?
it's I just want to I just want to say something. That it's in the DNA of the Delhi franchise to not play the one player that can fix their issues. It will happen in the men's tournament as well very soon. We'll see
Fingers
that.
crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, so I think for me the first name will always be Diana Doughton. I think
Yeah.
she has immense power and she can hit some really long, massive sixes. So like these few names, you have Diana Doughton, and another name that we haven't seen much of, but I think she can hit big sixes is Chloe from South Africa. She's hasn't got as much chance, but again, she's somebody who's really can power the ball over the fence.
Who?
Chloe Theron from Mumbai, playing for South Africa. She can bowl left arm, bats right-handed, excellent power hitter. And again, she can tongue spin and use well versus pace as well. So
Guys,
yeah.
you mentioned pretty much all the names that everyone would think of, but from England's perspective, who's their best hitter? They have someone like Dunkley, Nat Sivers there.
There's Alice Capsey. There's Heather Knight, not exactly a power hitter, but then
If they had to
Yeah.
send someone to represent them for the Super Sixes competition, who
I
would
would say Alice Capsey. I don't think Dunkley could beat her, but then yeah, it's hard, sort of.
See,
Next is
Dunkley is someone who relies a lot on timing, and she's an excellent timer of the cricket ball. I think one of the best that you could see when she starts hitting power play boundaries. I mean, you
Yeah.
just have to just clap. So I think, and they have a lot of such players, but they have the likes of Amy Jones as well, but they're not always relying on power hitting. So again, Capsey is definitely one option, and she's so young. I mean, she's so much time that we'll see her for a long, long time. And I think Natalie Skiver, you can bank on her to time a 94-meter six also if you want to do that.
Yeah. Bharat going on to agree, saying Amy Jones
Yeah,
may be out of
yeah.
the whole world, but Talia McGrath is a sky for women cricket playing with the feet. Yeah, Talia McGrath is rightly ranked.
No, she
number
plays one day better.
rankings. Sorry?
She plays ODIs better.
She
Now-
plays okay.
Now someone is going to come up with the comment that why is Sanju not being selected and why is Sky selected?
Yeah, I mean, the Sanju chat will definitely start gathering momentum once we head closer to the IPL for sure. Looks like UP going to win with 7 wickets, saying Greg. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This partnership is already around 80, I'm guessing. When did these two get together?
39 for 3, so that's
39 for 3. Now, have I jinxed it? Have I jinxed it? I have.
Yes.
Brilliant. Is this the game changer?
Good bowling.
Ash
Very
Gardner
good bowling.
lowering her fellow compatriot Talia McGrath. And like Gurkirat also jinxed it earlier, saying, I don't think McGrath is going to give a chance. Might be Grace Harris. You were wrong, Gurkirat.
But this is beautiful bowling. I think she just
Sorry.
See, this is exactly how Amelia Kerr got Taila Megara out in the last game. You see, she had got Taila to move away and go through the outside, but it did not come off the middle, it came out the inside out. Amelia Kerr to a cotton bolt, and because she's hitting the ball so well, it carried to snare around at longer. But again, I think she set the game up, but there is still a lot to do now.
Akshay wanted to say something. Is there life, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, but I would still say this is UP's game to lose. But yeah, you never know. We've seen funnier things happen. So yeah.
We've seen funny things happen. Gurkirat, do you
so
want
who
to say
comes in
something?
now? Who comes in now?
She's already come.
Simran Sheikh, right?
She's already walked in.
Oh,
as a
sorry,
front row.
Dipti. Dipti leads. Dipti, I think, will make sure that she bats till the 20th over.
I hope.
And yeah, I mean, in a way, people might take the piss, but the games which really you have everything against Dipti should prove you wrong. I'm absolutely elated. I'm hoping Bangalore also doing almost a recording of this right now somewhere, which they'll put on social media and be like, oh, look, we relied on certain people and all of that. It's just absolute chaos. But
Like
yeah,
always.
Bumrah did the dead rubber, right? The night one.
I mean,
No, it's important for the top spot. If
Yeah.
if Delhi win today, they have a chance to upstage Mumbai and go up top. It may need a lot of things to go their way, but it's something to play for. Not
Okay,
something a
interesting.
lot to play for because you won't want to have that one-off day in the final.
Oh, for sure. 117 for 4, 13.5. Now that wicket has just brought things back little bit, not drastically, because Dipti's walked out and she still has Grace Harris with her. Let us know in the comments below what you think will happen, because Greg was just saying 7 wickets. I don't know whether he jinxed it, but there you go. It's 118 for 4. We want to see a close game because that's what's kind of disappointed me as well, where sometimes we haven't had the close encounters that we once wanted. Dipti should come in for any chances for Bangalore to qualify. Abhinav also knows it. I don't know why people just like look at her with that lens.
I mean, she's not really, done anything to change that image. She's
But-
really played slow. She's had these 20 balls, 15 balls, 10s, and that's pretty much been her batting.
But yet she's still in that chat of, is she India's best player or most valuable player?
For sure. I mean, that does not take away, from the fact that what she's done for India in the last few years. I mean, we can't really sort of forget that.
No, but like right now, people in the comments are perceiving her as a liability right now in these games. And I don't know whether that's the right thing to say.
Short
Just the
attention,
usage.
social media,
Just
doesn't-
usage.
And
Yeah, just the usage. Okay, Sneerana to Dipti. It's going to be interesting to see how Dipti plays. I'm guessing she's just going to go giving the strike as much as possible to Grace Harris. How do you get Grace Harris out, Gurkirat? Even if you were Sneerana right now, what are you thinking? You've taken a gamble with Harleen. You've of course brought Monica back in. What other options do you have left?
I'll now that Sneh Rana is bowling herself, I'll bowl outside off with a sweeper cover and force her to
Okay.
hit through the offside rather than hit through the leg side, because I
But
don't
she
think
just
that the
did
boundary.
bowl outside off, and she still
Yeah,
managed to get
see,
the
this is still okay. This is still okay. She was smart to just keep the Yorker out. But if I have to play my chances or take my chances or play the percentages, I'd rather have Grace Harris hit through the offside rather than target the leg side, because if she gets into under the ball on the leg side, she's more or less clearing the boundary. And
But
I
what
do
kind of
believe
feel would you set? Because, like he mentioned earlier, invariably you're seeing the offside ring up if you want to protect the
yeah, that's what
onside.
I'm saying. I'll probably get one fielder from the leg side into the circle. Probably have a square leg and a fine leg inside, and get one fielder from leg side into the circle, and then take my chance. Probably bring in even long on, because if I don't get her out, she's going to win the game for UP. And yeah, before you asked me this, I was about to say this, that given the required rate has almost reached 10, I do think that Grace Harris will try and make this a 15 run over, because it's the kind of matchup she can do well against.
Yeah, I mean, she's already kind of got a good amount of runs so far in this over. She got a cheeky boundary. She's got 2 and she's got 1 now.
Yeah, but that was actually to a good delivery, the boundary that she got.
Yeah, fair. So 8 to 4. Again, it's still hovering around 10, that red required run rate. And Stay Rana has been absolutely woeful with the ball today, but maybe it's one of those days that she was brilliant with the ball against RCB when all of our other teammates were going for runs. Let's see what she has in her locker the last 2 balls. It's a freebie to Dipti. Does she connect? Well, she does. For a second, it gave you an impression that it could be held out deep mid wicket. No one was there.
No,
And that's
I said no, because it was a poor ball. It was a very bad ball.
Yeah. It was a hit me ball. A buffet ball is what they call it. 130 for 4. It'll also give UP a lot of confidence if they actually chase this down, because you look at the whole competition, their bowlers have bailed them out, and invariably they haven't got the high scores that they want to. Sure, they have. Oh, Dipti. She's just thrown it away. What has she done? And Sneh Rana has the last laugh, and I don't know in the grander scheme of things if this could actually work out in the favor of UP and against Bangalore. But look, a wicket
Can't
is a
blame her
wicket.
for intent at least. So
You can't.
Take
You
that.
cannot.
I agree with it. So that I'd rather have her, getting out, going after the ball, than just knocking around and then getting out eventually. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't expect this to come from her, but look, still Grace Harris, still hope for UP. They need about 49 more. Who else do they have? Simran Sheikh, Sophie Eccleston, and then they're staring down the barrel.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm actually drawing blanks right now. Trying to
I mean,
think
as
of-
Gurkio would say, Eccleston, Simran Sheikh, and Inshallah.
I mean, Gaikwad can still, I mean, hold the bat. He can still, knock singles around if that's any help.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I think it's just all about Grace Harris. I mean, suddenly if the wicket of Grace Harris goes, I'm already going to be celebrating here. There'll be high fives in the studios. Because look, I mean, UP are pretty much through. I mean, Bangalore still have to produce that win. Let's not forget that. Bangalore fans have always been used to teams losing, but then they have to do the job. They don't get the job done. So, look, Smriti Mandana, if you're watching this, please win. Please, no matter what happens in this game, please just do your jobs. And that'll be a double header tomorrow as well. I think Bangalore playing Mumbai, the afternoon game. So that'll be a good one to watch. It'll be Smriti up against Harman, all those fascinating subplots. And we'll, of course, talk about potential team of the tournament, whatnot, before heading into the eliminator and the final. So join us in that one. Also, tonight, we'll be doing the Mumbai Delhi game with Bishan in house. There'll be Mohit there, and there'll be one of these two boys. I'm not sure who. I think maybe Nix will also be there. Required rate is 10 and last recognized batting pair on the crease right now. How are UP faves to win? Are you all jinxing this? I'm jinxing it. I don't know if Nix is. But is it 50-50 Knicks right now, or do you think UP still have the edge with Grace there?
No, it is 60-40. Gujarat have a chance.
Oh, what
But
a
it's
shot.
all, it's all Grace Harris.
I mean, that's not Grace in the sense it's Grace, but it's not Grace in the sense it's more Funk Harris than Grace Harris. But she'll take that 46 or 28. Dude, she's
You
played
could
some
say
final.
you could say Power Harris, and no one would bat an eyelid.
I mean, this is her fourth innings, and what she scored 59 in the first, 39 in the second, 36 in the third, and this is 42 right now. So yeah, she's had a
Teams in
fantastic.
yellow, teams in yellow always have a good all-rounder to take care of the chase.
I mean, and it's so crazy to think that she was actually tactically dropped in one of the games earlier for Shabnam Ismail. So, yeah, I mean, Grace Harris has been a real purchase for the UP Warriors scheme of things. Right. If she's there, they're going to win it. That's how it stands right now. I don't know what you guys feel. Subhash Bharata saying if UP are favorite wins. I mean, Cricket suggest otherwise, but let's see how it is. Who else has overs to bowl? That's my question. And
Everybody
why
has one.
take the one that Subodh has mentioned right now? Players like Deep Sharma, Dev Kaveh, they're making the tournament boring, costing their game for their own teams. Is that harsh? It is harsh, surely.
Deepti just got saved them the last game. She,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
she did everything on her own, and you beat Mumbai. So again, the thing is, we expect every all-rounder to have a great kind of day. So in that comparison, I'll say you're probably more right in terms of your expectations of Devika,
Yeah.
because she hasn't had a tournament. So, but that can happen, and you can't always expect your all-rounders to get 3 wickets and score 20, 30 runs. It doesn't happen anyway. So, and you will need weaker teams to always maybe stat pad if you want to. It doesn't happen. The competition is decent enough for them to not always have those great days. So,
That is
it's
true.
okay. It's part and parcel. They will also learn. Hopefully, maybe better off next season.
Yeah,
Mm.
just something that I want to add on this. Sometimes, I mean, what I understand, sometimes what I get from the Indian fans is that they don't think that the opposition is there to compete or play. We just struggle to sometimes give the due credit to the opposition. It's not just with regards to this tournament or the Indian T20 league. You see this even in the international cricket. uh, we have no scope to admit that someday the opposition has played better,
Yeah.
or they were the more skilled team, or they were the more how do you want to put it, sometimes they were even the more lucky team, which can happen because this is sport. We never want to admit that despite doing everything right, things can't go your way. It happens in life, it happens in sport, but I just don't think that fans understand that. Anyway, there's the timeout. I am also taking a timeout, coming back in 5 minutes.
Okay, he's going to go for a quick cheek to our break, I'm guessing. 16 overs up, 138 for 5, I think it is. There was just two. I mean, how much was that last ball go for?
That was a single.
No, just a single. So I'm looking at the bowling options right now. 4 overs left, and essentially one bowler will bowl their quota of 4 because Haleen filled up for that 1 over, which was belted. So who are you throwing the ball to? Kim Garth. There's of course Monica Patel who can't bowl the next over because she just bowled this. And then there's your spin options in Sneha Rana, Ash Gardner, and Tanuja Kanga.
Kim Gard's got 2 overs right now.
Yeah,
I see.
3. She has 3. Everyone's bowled 3 essentially. So
Okay.
they all have 1 left.
Okay.
So who are you going to be bowling? Because essentially, I'm trying to think: should they front load with their best weapons, or should they hold them back?
Definitely front load. There's no point holding back because Grace Harris wouldn't really let the match go.
So if you're front loading, who is it? Kim
So
Garth.
Kim Gard goes next. Then not really sure if I mean Monica Patel seemed.
Would
seems
you?
a bit-
I mean, I know it's a strange call, but would you play against the ego of Grace Harris and maybe tempt her with Tanuja Kanga?
I mean, she hasn't really, seemed uncomfortable against slow left arm. So I don't really see her, making mistakes or falling out to her.
True.
Of course, right now I'm just praying, for the law of averages to just
Catch
come
up.
in and help us out here right now. Yes, what do you?
Yeah, Nick. I mean, honestly, what do you feel? Because right now, Gurkirat said that Grace might make a mistake, and if she makes a mistake, you don't think that UP can get over the line. Who's your best bet to get Grace Harris out? I know it's a question that is repeated multiple times, but it is
Yeah.
something that Bangalore fans are asking.
So as you said, the bowling hasn't had the bite, to be very honest, apart from the few moments of brilliance. So and they'll want to have Gardner. I don't think they'll straight away bowl Gardner's last over right now. So
Yeah.
the way I think is maybe they'll, because there's Sophie on strike, they could be tempted to go with Tanuja or go with Sneha Rana. The thing is, Grace Harris needs, and what from what I see, Grace Harris needs 1 over while she'll take 20.
Yeah.
And that over will just diffuse the game completely. That okay, now we don't have to worry about anything. Let's wait for them to make the mistake because it's 41 from 24. You get
Correct.
20 from 6, it makes it 21 from 18, and then it's just runabout situation. So there's probably 1 over of risk that is being taken now. And so the one I'll bowl later is Kim Garth and Monica Patel. I'll probably stick to spin and then just hope it works out for you because then you can still bank on Monica Patel and Kim Garth to take care of the lower order. So maybe, but that's how I am thinking. Let's see how
No,
they
I
go.
agree with you in that regard. I think sometimes you just have to really encounter what's in front of you. 41 from 24 is what the equation reads. And like Nick said, it's Eccleston in strike. So who is it going to be right now? We've still not got a glimpse of the bowler. I think it's Anuja Kambal. It
Tanuja,
is the
yeah.
left arm spinner who's going to be operating. So let's see if she does have maybe something in her to get a wicket or two. It's outside off stump and it's just 1. So 40 of 23, and all the attention will definitely be on Grace Harris right now. Needed to put pressure on Gardner would have been very good. They need 1 wicket. Experienced bowler would have been fine. I think, yeah, in terms of experience, I think Gardner's the most
Yeah.
experienced because
Yeah, see,
everyone.
the only problem with this is, and it's a very double-edged sword. See,
Yeah.
you know the best bowler is Gardner.
Oh, that's a
That's
shot and a half. I mean, Tanuja was not bad with that delivery.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Just
look
grace.
at the improvisation.
Grace of grace.
Grace of grace, honestly.
50.
think,
Another 50.
Grace Harris already has a case of making, the MVP of the tournament. I mean,
Yep,
like
she
you
will.
mentioned, after the knocks, she's come in, played it nonchalantly, and she's just delivered time and again for her team, which is definitely a batting light team, barring Healy and Talia McGrath. That's a buffet ball, and that's 6. That is
So see, that's where-
ridiculous from Grace Harris.
That's where we can say that maybe you wanted Gardner, but the thing is, opposition then plays it very differently.
Correct.
They know this is the only over that you have to worry about. So you can take it for 7 and 8 and still hope that you can take care of the rest. And this
Yeah.
was always going to be there. You can bowl Sneha Rana, you can bowl anybody in the world. It was always going to be that 1 over that that Grace will target. And she's given her 1 okay ball, and this was a hit me ball, so it was duly hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, even if you kind of want to front load and bowl your best bowler right now, it's that one over eventually which will cost you, especially when we talk about the death overs, is one ball, one bounce four, sorry, not a six. So back-to-back boundaries, and that'll do them pretty good right now because already 9 of this over, so that's 32 of what, 21 or something like that. Yeah, 32 of 21. But it's still 30 runs required. I keep saying this. Grace Harris, she's in a hurry here, and that shouldn't really get the better of her. Grace Harris will be dropped in her next game because she's playing the match ready knock. That's how UP's management are. They made that mistake once. I don't think they'll burn their fingers twice.
See, if they win this one, they are through. So they could potentially rest her for the next game.
They could actually.
And I don't think it was a drop. I think it was a pact that was made with Shabnam Ismail that we rotate you two for the first 4 games, for the first 3 games, and then we see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, and Grace is, I think it's the ease with which Grace has batted that has actually surprised a lot of people. That it's how comfortable she's looked against anything and everything that's thrown at her.
How much is she bought for in the auction?
75 lakhs RCB bid.
That's a MVP steal of the tournament right there. Very close to AD Matthews kind of the purchase. Base price, all-rounder who can do a lot.
Okay, so at least a good finish from Tanuja. She went for 2 boundaries, but she managed to pull it back somehow. 30 of 3 then. And now, I mean, it just comes down to, would you actually kind of do this? I know like Sophie Eccleston right now, all she wants to do is put Grace Harris back in strike, right? Would you kind of tell your bowler, pull outside off, bring everyone else up on the offside, and take a punt in at least that regard?
But then Eccleston
is good enough.
The bat her side.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go boundaries. There's no
She's
point.
good enough to go over covers. She's actually very good.
Last game, I think she finished off the game in that Mumbai game. So Eccleston as well. I think she played another cameo earlier on in the tournament, like a 12 ball, 22 or something. Yeah. So even she's no mug with the bat. Speaking of Eccleston, before the game ends, just want to ask you guys if she's now going to run away with the purple cap, because she just got 1 today, and Seka's bowling later on today in the evening. Who's winning that race?
I mean, it's still going to be a closely fought contest, especially if Eccleston makes it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
She would actually, there's a good chance that MI directly plays the finals. So they'll be playing 1 game lesser.
1 game less.
So if anything, that makes a case for Eccleston winning the cap. So yeah.
That is true. Now, Gardner, the most experienced out of them all, has come in to bowl. Let's see if experience is the key to break this stat in particular, get Grace Harris out, I should say. Now, 29 of 17 on any given day with 5 wickets, the batting team's winning this. But we've seen funny things like Akshay just mentioned a while ago, 2 singles. They would take that, Gujarat, but it's that 1 boundary that they're looking to curtail. I mean, if Ash Gardner can give me 6 singles, I'd take it, but that hardly happens. What's your gut feel?
I mean, right now, more than the singles, I just need...
Oh, shocking ball. At least they don't run off the wild. More than a single, you're hoping for a wicket.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't really matter. I don't mind her getting, getting hit for a couple of boundaries if she gets Harris's wicket here.
It's delaying the inevitable. 27 of 16. Oh, come on, long one. Please be in business. Oh, she's nearly taken a specky. The captain herself, Snedana. Oh my God. It was not the big.
But that was a regulation. I don't think it needed something like extraordinary. I think it was a regulation catch.
Regulation, you feel? I mean, she did quite a bit. Or
she had covered a lot of ground, but then you would expect.
I mean, she got to it, got 2 hands to it.
Yeah.
Oh, swatted away on the leg side. It's swatted away for 1 bounce 4. I mean, Grace Harris is honestly dictating this game from the 6th over. We're just bystanders, and we're just being false hoped as Bangalore fans, because ultimately in about 15 minutes we'll just be crying, and we'll be, of course, applauding Grace Harris for yet another scintillating knock. But is this 4? No, it's 6 actually.
6.
So it's insult to injury that to Ash Gardner and the rest of the Gujarat team, because that's what they didn't want. I mean, the drop was bad enough of Sophie Eccleston, that is, but this has gone for 6, and now the equation has just got way, way easier. And Gujarat win. I mean, let's just put it out there. I mean, now it's just a miracle.
Gujarat win.
Oh, sorry, UP win. My bad. Nearly. Nearly said something else there. So 6 it is. And Ash Gardner, I mean, she's still kind of having nightmares of Sophie Devine from that night. So this is not helping her case. 20 or 14. What does she have? Oh, cheeky from Grace Harris. She's got 4
Good
more.
stuff.
Brilliant.
No, good stuff.
Brilliant. That saved a boundary. And it's 19 of 13. It's those fine margins which could prove to be something at the end of the line. Grace
Just get
Harris
a
sixes, quite ridiculous.
just get a boundary now. Close the game out.
Just get a boundary now. How much would you take of the final over? I mean, I know there's still 2 more, but what is Eccleston have? It's
Oh,
if we hit. Okay, great finish to the end of the over. 19 of 12. Eccleston annoyed. But look, it's fine. It's 160 for 5. I'm just trying to compare. How much did they get in their last 2 overs?
Not much. Partially over. I think we
Yeah.
go for it.
Oh,
And they
Dipti's
lost.
over. Dipti bowled the 18th?
Yeah, she bowled the 19th over.
she bowled the 19th. Yeah.
Bowled the 20th, correct. Okay, so Gurkirat's back. Greg's back in the comments saying winning by 5 wickets is UP. First, he said 7 wickets. He's changed his prediction. Gurkirat is, of course, well fed right now in that 15-minute break that he
I didn't go to eat anything. My car had gone for a service. It came back. I was just checking the car out. If anything.
Which is the dear old Honda.
Yeah, the same one in which
Same one. No, Hondas are top cars. Top cars. I have
the
a
same one
Civic.
that I took you around in Amritsar.
For sure.
Maybe Honda should invest in RCB.
Gujarat Giants to win by 3 runs is what Subhash saying. Quickly, Nix and Gurkirat. Who should bowl right now? Okay, it's Kim Garth.
Kim Garth.
What's happening? What's the strategy in the block hole? Old school stuff.
3 hits, game done.
Yeah, I know, but how do you even foresee them bowling to this woman? She's crazy, this Grace Harris.
I think let's see if they bowl wide and full. I don't know.
Okay, Kim Garth
Yorker.
goes down for a single.
Good ball.
Yeah.
Good ball.
I like the field setting, honestly.
Yeah.
I like this field.
Yeah, but the
18
boundary
Because
is tiny.
the boundary might be tiny, but it is still at least giving bowler a
yeah,
greater
some
chance of
chance.
of error
missing
if it happens. Because
Yep.
you can't be thinking of bowling the Yorker and then have both the cover and mid
She
off.
swatted that away on the offside, Sophie Eccleston, and she's got 4. It's not just Grace Harris, it's also this one who can bat, like Akshay and Nix have been mentioning. And now it just gets simpler by the ball, by the looks of things, for the UP women out there. 14 of 10, and that's brilliant. That's almost
Lovely
last year. The way she's opened up a bat in the offside, that's brilliant. Hopefully, Smriti Mandana doesn't break her TV in the hotel room. She will be tremendously angry, and Grace Harris is what Subodh Chavan going on to say. I mean,
I think they would have had a contract now that if you are with RCB, you can't do these things.
and Smriti
because you have to
Indian.
get used to it.
Oh,
No, but she'll have
man.
she'll have to get used to this, so it's okay.
Okay, fine. Kim Garth, can you come back? Please come back for the love of God, for the love of Bangalore fans around the world. It's a full toss and she gets away with it. 13 of 9, and now it's that woman. It's that monster called Grace Harris. I mean, it's crazy. I honestly thought once they got to 178 at the halfway mark, that's going to be a stiff ass for this UP team, especially if they lost Keely early. But again, Grace Harris and Talia Mutraz, honestly, jokes. 13 of 9.
But
Now,
I felt it was just about par because the pitch wasn't really gripping or slowing down.
agreed, but like with their batting so over dependent that 3 foreign stars, I was thinking maybe it's 10, 15 too many. But again, she's gone down the ground. Is it 6? You betcha. If there is ever any doubt in this man's ability or this woman's ability to hit a ball, and boy, she's showing that tonight. 172 for 5, and then now 7 away. Akshay, talk to me, man. I mean, it's a joke, this.
Please talk. You'll need time to talk.
There's nothing to say.
It's just the
जब तक मैं नहीं बोल रहा बोल लो उसके बाद मौका नहीं मिलेगा.
I mean, Somesh was on earlier in the previous Watchalong, which UP were part of, and he compared Grace Harris to Andrew Simons as a male equivalent cricketer. I think she might even be better than Simons, to be fair. I mean, what she's doing right now is just a joke.
Difficult to compare across eras spanning. I mean, eras which are so different from each other, and probably a difference of 15 years, if not 2 decades. But I do think that Andrew Simons was probably
That's a goal
this might be
again.
gone.
Now
This might be
long
gone.
on, surely,
This-
please,
this
for the
might
love
be
of
gone.
God, get the wicket. But is it too late? Is it too late? 7 of 8 now, is it? 7 of 7 it is. And
7
now
of 7.
Simran Sheikh will probably be on strike. Jaideep Gajera saying, I haven't seen Smriti ever angry and can't imagine the angry face. Honestly, hold the phone, Jaideep, because you know what? They could just be having a last minute. I mean, you never know. It's just honestly in Bangladesh DNA to get out of situations like this. But 7 of 7 is still definitely a gimme for the batting team. Harleen's not dropping that, and Kim Garth gets the wicket. It's a 7 of 7. Who's bowling the last over, by the way, by the looks of things?
Most likely.
It'll either be Monica Patel or the captain herself, Sneerana.
Yeah, I mean, she also has an over left, yeah, but then she's gone for runs.
She's gone for
38
runs.
38 runs.
38 in her 3. But what a knock from Grace Harris. Take a bow. She's played gems throughout the tournament, and this one will be right up there. I think even if you look back in the top 10 innings, Grace Harris features, 4 of
More
them?
than
are
once. Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Simran Sheikh,
Who's-
what do we expect
Who's
from her?
bowling the last over?
A little bit, but does she have the composure, the composed nature? I was going to say the composure. Does she?
If I were Eccleston, I would just tell her to take singles, not do anything funny. And I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what even she's told her right now.
Yeah.
But it's last ball. You'd want to take a boundary if you can.
Maybe, yeah. Think of it as
So
a
if you
full
can
hit
take the
and-
entire over, yeah.
Fair.
Okay, so let's see if Kim Garth can get a double blow. I mean, that'll be perfect, but it's Simran Sheikh, and sometimes even these kind of deliveries ultimately, I don't know, might just go on the right of the keeper, left of the keeper for 4. We can see anything in this last ball, but
French cut for 4.
7 of 7. Outside edge for 4. Oh,
French cut, not even outside edge.
a wicket. I'm sure he gets a wicket. Oh, Charles was begging. Oh, she's pumped that down the ground. 7 of 6 it remains. Eccleston in strike. And
I don't
Eccleston
think that's a drop
last time
catch.
Sorry?
I don't think that's a drop catch. I think she's probably saved 2 runs, if not 4. It was hit very hard.
100%. Some people say regulation in their sleep and stuff, but obviously not.
Not this.
Some commentators watching it will say it's regulation.
They'll have to watch 3 replays to then anyway say anything. So yeah.
For sure. Okay, fine. So who you guys throwing the ball to? Monica Patel or Sneerana?
I mean,
I
I think Monica Patel could be a good punt to take.
Sorry?
Monica Patel could be a good punt to take. You know what you get
I
from
would
Sneerana.
probably go for against Eccleston. She seemed really comfortable in the last over that she played when she played Rana, that is. So
Yeah.
Okay, it is Sneerana. It is
she's backing
Sneerana.
herself.
yeah,
Okay,
It's crazy
that-
if she takes a
that's-
wicket faster.
She's bowling to Eccleston, who comes down the track. She wants to. Is she going to put Simran
She'll
Sheikh back
get
at
to.
strike? She is in. So she comes back for 2. Very clever cricket from Sophie Eccleston. 5 from
Yeah.
5 right now. I was expecting Harleen to come in slightly faster there, but maybe that's a Bangalore fan and me talking. I don't know. Might just be really ushering the moments in right now. By the way, we just put out Cricket in a Minute. I just uploaded it, which is also short content that you guys can like. Lots to love there. Check that out on 174 for 6, 5 of 5. Sneerana to Eccleston. What do we have here? It's a full toss, but I don't think that will be going for 4. It'll just be the single. Will she want to come back for 2? No, she doesn't. So 4 of 4. Come on, Simran Sheikh. I know you're a secret Bangalore lover. Cock it up for your team. Please do. Gurkirat's having a right laugh. Come on, Gurkirat. Your team's already there, bro. Delhi. What are you wondering about? Top spot to play for in the evening.
I want to quote a famous Dhoni tweet. He doesn't tweet a lot, but I think it was around 2013 or 2014 when he's probably quoted, or he's probably made one of the,
All-time
if not the GOAT tweet, if at least one of those GOAT tweets where he says, "I don't care about the result. I am only
I'm
here
here
for
for
the
it."
entertainment." This is what this tournament is about for me. Entertainment and education for me, because
Okay, come on. Sneerana to Simran Sheikh. It's a flat one. Oh, it's a dopper. They scamper through. The wicketkeeper has to hit. And she misses. That is absolutely
Look at that dive.
chaotic running,
Look
but
at
they-
that commitment. Look
That is-
at that dive.
Suresh Raina would be proud of it.
I don't know how they stole a single there. I mean, Elisa Healy can't believe it. We can't believe it. I mean, it was
The
honestly a
ball.
great delivery.
At the edge of the pitch, that's it.
Oh, she should have hit it. And her bat got stuck undone. I mean, Sushma Varma.
Good dive though. Good
Sushma
dive
Varma.
from Simran.
Great running by Biden.
Great running. 3 of 3. Eccleston, a wicket here, make it really interesting.
Oh.
Oh, and Sneh Rana taking a page out of the Dipti book.
No problem. Just go straight, get the boundary. Just go straight.
Go straight. Nikhil knows it. Mitali watches on. It's a crescendo this. 3 of 3. What can we see? A wicket surely from a Bangalore perspective, but it could be a boundary to finish things off straight, like Nick says. But there is long, long.
They'll run two. They'll run
Will they
two.
come back for 2? Brilliant running. Oh, God. Go.
I think
What a
she's
throw
made it.
that is. What
I
a
think
throw.
she's made it.
But what great running from Simran Sheikh. I mean, we saw how fast she was in that previous ball, guys. But even right now, she's giving a third umpire. I mean, make his
I
job
think
hard
she's
as
made
well.
it. She's quite confident that she's made it, and it
Oh, that's
looked like
fine.
she made it.
What you're saying she's made it? I think she's out. I think she's out. Nick, even you think she was out, right?
I think barest of margins.
There is the margins, and Nick's is right. Nick is right. 2 of 2. Eccleston won't be on strike, right?
No,
No,
she
she
will.
will be.
Damn it,
She will
on
be.
strike.
It's run out. Yeah. You can't change the rules for Bangalore. Not yet.
Okay, 177 for 6. 2 runs, 2 balls. What a game.
But yeah,
What
just
a
kudos to
game.
the throw though. That was an excellent throw. Right up top.
Look,
Just
think
where you
about
wanted.
right now,
Yeah,
all
but-
the key tight finishes, UP been part of all of them. This one against Mumbai and the other one earlier.
Yeah.
Brilliant
Just say
stuff.
to Bishan that they care for the tournament also. So they've given them a couple of close games.
Though, I mean, well done, Simran Sheikh. I mean, whatever
Yeah,
I've seen of
Gardner.
you with running between the wickets, praise you up. A super over. Subodh Chavan, let's tell you quickly.
No,
Lyrics,
yeah.
6% chance of a super over. A 6% chance, Cricket Lyrics. Okay, so Anjali's on strike.
No.
Okay,
No.
The broadcasters nearly deceived me.
You know, someone who's controlling the graphics probably is also a Bangalore
Is a
fan.
Bangalore fan. One dot ball would be great. Bharat Kotwani. 2 wickets would be great. How about that? How about that? No super over.
So for you, why do you
Okay,
want
come on.
wickets? You can
Let's
get
see.
2 dots can help it for you.
I mean, but the chance of 2 dots is what, like the keeper, like collecting it, play and miss. Dude, I think it's gonna be UP winning it. Sophie's too clever.
I think Sophie's going to play a paddle sweep
Ooh.
because
Okay,
there's
see,
no
Lana,
one. There's
she-
no one behind.
City field over there.
She
goes,
does. She does.
fine. She gonna get the
Not
run.
really.
She might get the run. She gets 4.
Not really the paddle sweep, but there was no one.
No one there.
There was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one in that field.
I mean, I didn't know if
Thank you.
Gurkirat was at the ground because he got the whole view of the field, but well called Gurkirat and well called Knicks because essentially UP with that win have put 2 teams out of this year's competition. Gujarat and of course Bangalore now, which breaks our heart. I say our heart because of course Akshay's with me, but guys, what a game.
Bangalore still in top 4.
Yeah, well, that's why I said top 5 finish. I don't mind, bro. I honestly don't mind. Jokes apart, though, really quick. Player of the match. As simple as that. Who is it? Grace
Grace
Harris.
Grace
Hands
Harris. Talia did give the platform, but Grace closed it out for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, essentially with
72.
Grace Harrison. Look, you just have to take your hat off at times if
Yeah.
you're the opposition.
Too
But
good.
Gukira, honestly, mentioned it to you. The boys are coming in and trying to take the piss. Honestly, come here and say your goodbyes and waves. Anirudh's not a fan of any sport team, so I can't really take the piss out of him. But Gukira, finally with you then, just to wrap up proceedings of this watch along, what is it going to be? Are we going to see UP suddenly storm into the final because they proved their mettle not once but twice, beating MI and now Gujarat?
They can. I mean, we've seen enough of T20 to know that it's not necessary that the team stronger on paper or the stronger team will win because it's such a short format. One good performance can even take the weaker team through. There's no reason why it can't happen. And with the way Grace Harris has been playing, way Tahalia Magaraj's playing, it can happen. Just maybe if Deepthi finds her bearings and starts doing well, no reason why they can't. I anyway think that they are probably better. They're probably better suited to slower pitches than what Delhi are. So if it's Delhi versus UP in that qualifier, yeah, UP winning will be an upset or a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, some great points mentioned by you guys there, and really thank your time. Just finish off with you, Akshay, because look, you mentioned it. Himalata is a big positive. Parshavi Chopra, we mentioned her. So the signs are now starting to see good things for UP, right?
Definitely. I mean, UP can take great heart from the fact that they've made it to the playoffs despite not having their entire team perform. So how far can they go from here? This is something that they'll take great heart from. So yeah.
Okay, let's see how it all unfolds. We'll be back for another watch along at 9 p.m. the second innings of the Mumbai Delhi game. That'll be a ripper because look, who wouldn't want to see Meg Lanning and Shafali create some fireworks again? And of course, the Mumbai bowlers so much to play for in terms of that top spot. Sekar Shak's going to be, of course, fighting for a purple cap as well. And Nix will be there. I'm not sure Gurkirat will. I think it might be Mohit and Bishan who joins us. But we'll see you guys soon. And we really appreciate your time, Nix and Gurkirat. And Akshay, it's been fantastic to do this with you as well. It's not the best one, buddy, because Bangalore go up, but we'll take it on the chin. I guess it is honestly Isala Cup Namde. In terms of the men's, we'll stick with that philosophy. Bangalore fans, apologies to you, but UP fans, onwards and upwards. I'm Avni Shaikde. I need a glass of coffee, maybe a gym session also, just to calm my nerves down. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Shona, can you...